All right, glad to have you back. My colleague Effiong Ekop is standing by to join me live from the exchange here in Lagos Marina. Effiong, the market is in red today. Can you take us through activities at the exchange? Why are we staying in red? Yesterday, too, we closed in the negative territory. Effiong Ekop, can you hear me? All right, I think we cannot connect with Effiong Ekop at the moment, but we'll try to see how that plays out before the end of the show. Effiong, are you there? Okay, Asian shares were subdued today with Japanese stocks sliding to its lowest in 3 weeks as investors sought safety, pushing the yen to a one-month high, while U.S. economic worries boosted prospects for the Federal Reserves to cut rates. Japan's benchmark Nikkei slid more than 1% to its lowest in 3 weeks, while tech-heavy Taiwan and South Korea stocks stood slightly higher on the day, giving up earlier gains. The MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside of Japan was 0.25%, subdued after having tumbled nearly 3% during a 3-day losing streak. The index had risen more than 0.6% but gave up those gains. Futures indicated European bourses would open in the red, with Eurostock 50 futures down 0.25%. German DAX futures down 0.25%. United Nations Secretary General Mr. Antonio Guterres has told African leaders that expanding ties between China and the continent could drive the renewable energy revolution needed for economic development. The Secretary General said this in an interview with newsmen on the sidelines of ongoing China-Africa Forum in Beijing. Mr. Guterres said collaborative measures between China and African countries will further promote economic growth and maintain financial stability.
China's cooperation with Africa can be extremely important in building modern infrastructure that is green, in supporting the capacity of African countries to fully benefit with the progress of the digital economy. And by the way, it's not by chance that China has presented a resolution in the General Assembly exactly on capacity building for artificial intelligence to the benefit of developing countries. So these are the kind of things that I believe when the word modern is expressed in the title, these are the kind of things that China can enormously help Africa to overcome its difficulties.
Okay, my colleague Effiong Ekop is ready for us now. Effiong, good afternoon and thank you for joining the program.
Good afternoon, Tolu.
Yes, the market is staying in red. I asked you that question earlier, and yesterday we also closed in red. What are the fundamentals surrounding this performance?
Well, I think the fundamentals of the markets and the listed stocks would be okay if you want to analyze in that direction. But the major thing affecting the market is this economic and social crisis that we are having for some time now. The petroleum the prices and the inflation thing, they have combined resources together to frighten market operators, and that's the reason we see many of the investors and fund managers staying on sales windows and uploading their securities for cash. That's exactly what is depressing the market. And today, we've seen many of the big banks coming down. I can tell you about UBA, Access, the Zenith Bank. They have come down by very large margins and combining issue, and then making the market index to really be down 0.34%, which is a very big, a quantum leap and a big loss, for 1 day of the trading transactions.
I'm seeing Oando fall into the list of losers for today. That stock's been performing so well in recent times.
Yes, Oando has been something that investors are really glad of. For a very long time, investors in Oando were not very happy. I think that we should be very happy with the management of Oando. And for some weeks now, they have been gaining and taking monies out of Oando. That is the major reason. This issue of selling off stocks is the major reason that the price of Owando has crashed today. Before now, Owando had moved up and it rewarded its holders exceedingly.
So, Effiong, if you are to look ahead, what do you think, considering the economic issues that you raised, do you think that we'll still have investors sitting on the fence until there's clarity on where we are headed with price of PMS, price of gas, and all that has to do with the economy? Is that when we'll have a clear direction of where the market is headed?
So I can tell you that majority of the traders here, they are not smiling at all. They came to tell you stories of the difficulties that they had, before getting to the trading floor. And so the market will continue to respond to the environmental condition that we have in the larger economy. It is not funny at all, except we are able to deal decisively with the petroleum problem and make it, available, and also the prices affordable, so that we be able to move about. It will be very, very difficult for businesses. In the markets here, think of manufacturing companies. Majority of them are trading in the lower territories today, and they take the hit very seriously. The prices that diesel and petrol are selling, and each of those liquids, they affect production processes in a very terrible way. And so if you ask how the markets will respond directly to what is happening outside, which is not sweet in any way. So in totality, we are going to see a situation where some days the market looks up and some other days it looks down, until a situation where there is stabilization. Don't forget, we are still in the month of, or we are even beginning the month of September. And so for the whole month of September, I do not think that we are going to be very, very proud, beating our chest to upward movements of stocks.
I must thank you so much, Effiong Ekop, there live for us from Marina there at the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange.
Thank you, Tolu.
Well, staying with foreign news, Japan's government's data shows that inflation-adjusted wages rose for 2 consecutive months in July, thanks to a bump in summertime bonuses. According to Labour Ministry, wages in the world's fourth-largest economy grew 0.4% in July, rising at a slower pace than June's 1.1% growth when it turned positive for the first time in 27 months. Wages hold the key to how soon the Bank of Japan could raise interest rates. BOJ's governor, Mr. Kaozu Eda, said broad-based increases in pay must accompany rising prices for inflation to durably meet the central bank's 2% target. The slowdown in real wage growth in July was primarily due to fewer firms paying bonuses that month than in June. Special payments, including bonuses, went up 6.2% in July, followed by a revised 7.8% growth in the previous month. Now, meanwhile, the Consumer Price Index officials used to calculate real wages, which includes fresh foods prices but excludes owners' equivalent rent, climbed 3.2%, slightly dipping from a 3.3% jump in the previous month. Now, President Joe Biden has prepared to block a $14 billion merger, a proposed acquisition of U.S. steel by Japan's Nippon Steel. A report from the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States informs of the potential risk the deal poses. The committee is investigating the proposed merger on national security grounds, but has not transmitted the recommendations to President Biden. Both U.S. Steel and Nippon Steel said they statement that they're open to legal fights to get the deal approved, no matter what actions are announced by President Biden. They also added that there are no national security issues associated with the transaction, according to them. And now crude oil prices edged up after plunging into a multi-month lows as major producers may delay in output increase planned for next month, and U.S. inventories fell through persistent demand concerns and they limited the gains. Now, U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude sells for $69.69 with an uptick of 0.79%. Brent crude futures experienced an upward price review of 0.76% to sell at $73.25 per barrel. Bonny Light fell to sell at $78.62 with a downward price margin of 2.84%. And for the OPEC basket, crude oil dealers are offering $76.29 with a downward price margin of 0.96%. Well, before we go today, let me reel out the figures of the market to you. The market is down 0.34%. With the gainers, we have the likes of Julius Berger, MC Nichols, May and Baker, Tantalizers, and Dar Communications. Losers, we have RT Briscoe, FTN Coco, O&O, and Deep Cop. Thank you so much.